Hello and welcome to the LGBTQ Review, where we're not here very often and sometimes we review things? Question mark? I think that's fair. Like films and stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be and stuff now. I moved to Scotland, so we can't do it all the time. I don't think it would work over Skype. It barely works like this. This week we are going to look at Carol because it's a Christmassy film.
Dearest, there are no accidents, and everything comes full circle. No explanation I offer will satisfy you. You seek resolutions because you're young, but you will understand this one day.
How many times have you been in love?
You're always the most beautiful woman in the room.
Therese Belivet.
Carol.
Carol is a 2015 drama film directed by Todd Haynes.
Yes.
An American independent filmmaker and script writer and producer who is considered to be a pioneer of new queer cinema movement in the early 90s. Carol is based on a 1952 novel by Patricia Highsmith. I might not be saying that right.
I thought it was Haysmith, but I don't think that's the bit that you were getting wrong.
Do we ever say anything right? Probably not. No. So yeah, the novel is called The Price of Salt, and that's all I know about that. Carol follows Therese, and it's like 1950s New York, and she works in a department store, and her boyfriend is P. Farter from Obvious Child. He wants to marry her, and she is not sure about anything ever because we don't know how old she is, but the age where you're allowed to not be sure about anything ever, right? And then she meets this woman one day that comes in to buy a toy for her daughter at Christmas because it's a Christmas movie, and there's some sexual tension. That's what happens basically. It's about their relationship, and then this woman that came in, Carol, is in the process of trying to divorce her husband, but it's like the 1950s. And that's it really. Nothing much else happens. It received a 10-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival when it premiered. How much it made at the box office, and it was nominated for 278 awards.
Wow.
Which I think says a lot more about the type of queer films people want to consume, het cis people want to consume, more than it does the quality of the film.
That's a really good point. I agree with that. I don't know why, but I just don't seem to pay attention to award ceremonies. He's really enjoyed
I
them.
love the BAFTAs.
I mean, you tell me the results.
I want a BAFTA. It's the only one I want.
But yeah, the only time I ever find out anything is when you've messaged me to say, have you watched it? Which I know I haven't. Then you just tell me what's happened, which is great. I love finding out like that. It really condenses a 4-hour thing into something that I quite enjoy.
I just really like it because I like it when people I relate to get them. So when Jessica Hines got the BAFTA, that was good. So fucking good. Noel Clarke won a BAFTA for Kidulthood, I think. He may have won it for something else, I can't remember, but his speech was really, really good. And that was 10 years ago. I still remember that, so that was good. I also like it when people come out at the ceremonies. Jodie Foster came out at the Golden Globes, I think. Something that I did think was interesting about it was that it opened from a man's perspective.
Yeah,
which they true. Yeah, I think that was really interesting, and because it goes back, and then you see that again from their perspective.
Therese, as a character, a kind of slightly odd
puppy. I think she's just supposed to be young and confused, but what doesn't make sense about that is they don't do any sort of backstory. So you find out her family are immigrants, which is a really good start, and then nothing else happens. So you don't know what her relationship with her parents is, or if she's got brothers and sisters, or if she's alone in New York. Like you said, she's a very difficult character to accept.
Really quickly, two scenes I really liked. Her answering the door, really good, to the husband when she's looking for Carol.
Yes.
He's looking for Carol.
Yes.
Really like that scene, that's really good.
Why is that in there though?
Don't know, it didn't need to be.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And then the really quick scene where Therese gets out of the car and vomits
Yeah, that was good.
That was really good.
See, the bits with Sarah Paulson, I think in there is a good movie, maybe a short, but it's like doesn't really involve Therese.
Yeah. Great coat though. I enjoyed that coat for the first half of the film where it's in.
The look of it is good. The subtext in the film, right? I have seen the film before. I watched it for this, and I didn't notice it then. And I've also, because I've been looking a lot at queer stories and stuff for uni, it comes up a lot, like, oh, the subtext in Carol is really good. They're saying this, and really they mean this. Great. But there's the bit at the beginning with the newspaper guy where he just explains to the audience that there's going to be a lot of subtext. They're like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just looking at movies because they're saying one thing, but actually they mean something else.
Right.
Full stop, end scene, carry on with the movie. So nobody wants that. It reminded me a lot of how much the Jeff Goldblum book was in Jurassic World.
Right,
Like, if it had just been that one scene at the beginning, that would have been great. But it was in the background of, like, every shot. Oh, you know what's better than this? And in 1950s New York?
Now what?
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Just watch that instead.
Okay, I've never seen that, so I will.
Well, it's not queer, but it is quite queer. Well, it's the Gilmore Girls writer, so nothing is ever queer out loud, but it's still a bit queer. Like, one of the characters is quite queer, and the fact that it's the 1950s and she's, like, divorcing her husband and being a comic, and I don't know why that feels queer, but it does.
As soon as the two main men in the film, like their partners at the start, as soon as they came on screen, I thought, yeah, these men are definitely going to escalate in how they, like, are either abusive, controlling, or turn into villains. And they did. Kind of. In some ways.
I mean, well, Pete Barter didn't really, did he? Like, she didn't treat him very well. Speaking of people that don't treat people very well. I know it's the 1950s and they're queer, but the flirting, would we call that flirting? It's more like Carol's being very mean to her. Yeah. And it's working.
The only time I remember thinking that was proper flirting, but it was also in a weird point, was with the gun halfway through the film. But it's really weird because the other person knows she has a gun and is, like, not interested in what's going on. And that's, like, the most flirty bit, I thought. And the rest of the flirting I thought was kind of weird. Yeah.
The flirting is very condescending. Like, I don't know why that would work.
A lot of it just felt like a very glossy version of narratives or, like, arcs that we'd seen before. Like, it didn't feel new at all, which is good because it's just putting a queer story in, like, a story that we already have, and people want to see that, and people need to see that, and that's great.
Simon.
Yeah, there's not really anything interesting or, like, new about that kind of filmmaking. So that's why I'm like, why is this so popular or, like, seen, like, in a award-winning way? Because it's like, it's not really doing anything.
It's like nice family lesbians. That's nice family white lesbians. That's the only way you can look at lesbians.
You said it.
Yeah, I know. I was confused as I was saying it. Let's rate it.
Yeah, I'll give it like a 2.8 out of 5.
Wow.
Because I think it's just too straight down the middle. It's slightly better than just average, I'd say. Whatever toy she bought at the beginning, because I can't even remember what it was.
Set?
Was it a train set?
It was a train set.
2.8 train sets.
I will give it 3. I don't know. Yeah, 3. Because I think there's
I think I liked it more than you did, and I've...
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I didn't enjoy it. It's nice to have a lesbian Christmas film.
That is true, yeah, we haven't talked about
But also I would never watch it again if I can help it. So I'll give it 3. It's just Sarah Paulson's, I think. 3 Sarah Paulsons.
Wow, that's...
Because she was the best bit. Follow us on Twitter at LGBTQ Review. I don't remember what we do here. Make sure you subscribe to get updates. There are going to be updates throughout December and hopefully January. And then I'll go back to Scotland and what will happen, I don't know.
We'll update you about what this is and everything.
That's a real insight into our lives. What will happen in January, we don't know. Okay, so we have been James and Beth, which we did not say at the beginning.